And so taking down that apartheid wall in accordance with the 2004 International Court of Justice ruling. Number two, equality for all Palestinians living inside of the state of Israel, where they face more than 30 laws that systematically discriminate against them. Number three, the right of return for Palestinian refugees. 750,000 were displaced in 1948, another displacement in 1967, and a continuing ethnic cleansing throughout. The reason for it, especially because we were in the United States, often we look at Palestinians as victims in need of aid, but they're not. They're an occupied and oppressed people in need of freedom, and we are complicit in that oppression. It is the U.S. government that gives $3.1 billion a year in military aid to Israel. It is the U.S. government that gives Apache helicopters, Hellfire missiles, cluster bombs, and white phosphorus that are then used against the civilian population in an open-air prison. It is our government that acts as Israel's veto inside and outside of the UN. What Palestinian civil society, 170 civil society organizations ranging from women's institutions and organizations to trade unions, to academic, cultural, and religious institutions have called for global civil society to stand up and stand in solidarity with them and cut our lines of complicity, whether it's through the U.S. government or through our tax dollars or through our university and campus investments. When your university is investing in companies like Caterpillar or Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, when you have the U.S. government who's sending over armored and militarized bulldozers that are bulldozing homes and uprooting olive trees and killing American citizens like Rachel Corrie, we have an obligation to cut those lines of complicity. We're not doing Palestinians any favor. We are cutting those lines of complicity. I'm on the organizing committee for the U.S. campaign for the academic and cultural boycott of Israel. Good thing this isn't taking place at Brooklyn College. There could have been shit about it, right? But this piece is called This Poem Will Not End Apartheid, and as somebody who works on cultural boycott, which was seen as a positive and effective and ethical tool to strip away the cloak of invincibility from the apartheid regime in South Africa, it is a tool that we're using today. And this is not a co-optation of somebody else's struggle. This is building and continuing to build a foundation between Black South Africans and other members of society in South Africa and Palestinian civil society. So this poem is called This Poem Will Not End Apartheid. PDF's important. This poem will not end apartheid. My words, no matter how beautiful, clever, or carefully strung together, will not end the occupation, allow the refugees to return, or create equality within Israeli society. The status quo was a fantasy, telling us it's okay to sit on our hands, called political art propaganda, rather than those who politicize our lives, propagandists. Every American should ask themselves this question: why are bombs and white phosphorus getting dropped on open-air prisons with money that should be going to pay for your educational expenses? And dear academics and leftists, I appreciate your books on Israeli massacres, but you refuse to take the bullets out of IDF guns with your stance is the problem.